Hey guys and girls, Joe Gehring here with Abeloff Buick-GMC here today. You're used to seeing me do videos of Kias, new Kia vehicles that are coming out, and wanted to put together a video because we do have several franchises here with Abeloff Auto Group, and I wanted to do a big comparison. I'm actually really excited to do this video between a 2500 SLT HD Sierra compared to a 2021 Sierra 1500 LD SLT. So hang out with us for a few seconds. Want to take you around, show you both of these great vehicles, and help you make some informed buying decisions when you're out in the lot and checking some vehicles out and checking out those stats. We'll start off with the Sierra 1500 just because it kind of makes the most sense, but it also makes the most sense because this is by far our highest volume, highest retailing pickup truck is the Sierra 1500 SLT crew cab short bed, like what we see here. Now this is a fantastic truck. It's more common than you think for customers to come in and say, you know, hey, I want to look at a 1500 and I also want to look at a 2500. And not everybody just drives them around like for their daily driver, although most people do. You know, quite frankly, they're multi-purpose vehicles. You know, it's their daily driver, but also it's the vehicle they would use to tow their boat. It's the vehicle they would use if they have a mower or something like that they have a loved one's property they're caring for or something. But it's also the vehicle that they're going to jump in and go get ice cream with, or the vehicle that, you know, they're going to stop and grab groceries on the way home from work. So you know, trucks are very multifaceted. I mean, they're obviously a huge segment in the United States of America, and the Sierra 1500 crew cab is our biggest installment in that in terms of volume by a landslide. So you know, we do have a double cab, we do have a regular cab, and a variety of trim levels from work truck all the way up to our Denali, which is our most luxurious trim line. The 1500 is very capable, but there is a huge difference between going to something like this at a 1500 and then jumping up to a 2500 where you jump into a full-fledged heavy-duty truck. So I want to help give you some of the specs and show you the comparisons between the two vehicles, because if you're not doing the things that a 2500 is meant to be doing, it's a lot of truck to be driving on a daily basis and to be toting around. I mean, just the sheer size of the trucks. I actually have a tape measure and I'm going to show you some of these things because the difference is vast. You might think to yourself the price is vast. It's actually not. That truck, the SLT 1500, we just walked around the outside of, that truck starts just a hair under 60,000. Actually, I think that one was 59,750 or something like that. This truck is only 63,900 and change, 990. You know, so and when you're up in that $60,000 price point, $3,000 or $4,000 is usually not a deterrent for one customer to go from one truck to the next, especially if for a few $1,000s, you know, one truck just won't meet their demands versus the other one will. The trucks themselves, the stats are very comparable. They're both crew cabs. They both represent the shortest available box in their class, although the bed length on the 2500 is longer, even though it's the shorter bed length than the 1500. They each have 20-inch wheels. They're both gasoline-powered engines, even though both of them have available diesel options. This truck does feature more gears in the transmission. This one's a heavy-duty 6-speed transmission compared to the 1500, which is going to be, I believe it's GMC's 10-speed transmission, although I do want to double-check that. This is also a very capable truck too, though, you know, so that's why I think we see a lot more of that in this day and age, especially if you got somebody who's got like a small camper. This truck has a tow rating of 9,200 pounds under conventional tow capacities. Okay, now if you went to a gooseneck configuration, it would tow less, as would the 2500. The 2500, that tow capacity, the way that truck is set up, is actually 14,500 pounds. So, you know, even though the horsepower between these two trucks is very similar, like this has the 5.3 liter, which is the smaller V8, but with the 5.3 liter, you're a little under 400 horsepower. It falls in at around 380, I think it's 383 horsepower. 6.6 liter, which is the gasoline engine that GM came out with for this new body style 2500, that engine's rated at 401 horsepower. So 17 horsepower is not going to be the biggest difference in the whole world. You're going to notice, you know, you wouldn't notice a vast difference in the tow capacity for 17 horsepower. This vehicle's got a lot more torque to it. It's got 400 464 pound-feet of torque. But even that's not why they tow so much different. They tow so much different because this vehicle has a lot heavier duty suspension componentry. It's got heavier duty tires. You don't even realize that, but the way these tires are rated is a lot heavier than what you're going to see on a 1500. The physical weight of the trucks is enormously different. I mean, they're thousands of pounds apart. The brakes, everything on these trucks is so much heavier because it's not about getting the weight moving. That 1500 has got so much power, you could really put way too much weight behind that 1500 and find yourself in a tight spot in a hurry. And that's where the 2500 comes in, you know, for that person who is doing the comparison saying, you know, I'm a guy who probably tows a little bit heavier than most. It's not usually just the difference of I want to drive one or I want to drive another. It's not, you know, just the way the vehicles drive, although they do drive very differently as well. We've got so much technology in them, and I mean, I could talk about them for an hour. I'm a Sierra owner myself. And I absolutely love it. It's actually my third one. It's fantastic. And who knows, maybe I'll wind up with one of these at some point here in the near future. But that being said, you know, Sierra owners are loyal owners, and they come back time and time and again. And there's a reason for that. One thing that people don't talk about enough, you know, when they're doing the comparisons between them, resale value. It's not the one that's toted the most. It's not the one you're going to find the most in the grocery store parking lot. But resale value on a Sierra seems to be, you know, heads and shoulders better than everybody else. So, all right, guys and girls, so just wanted to jump in the interior of the 1500 here. GMC, you know, has always done a great job of just making sure they're putting out a top-notch vehicle. The fit and finishes on them are top-notch. I mean, everything you feel on them. I mean, they're soft touch materials, well-crafted, great contrast. I talk a lot about that in a lot of the Kia videos we do, because those things are important to consumers. You don't notice it as much, but they've always done a good job with these things. Some other brands are getting around to doing it, you know, but GMC's been doing it for decades. But on top of that, it's not the vehicle that's sold the most. So I could go through the technology for hours with these things. I mean, they've got every available safety feature, just like, you know, most cars at this point that are on the market, but they do a great job. I mean, you know, jump into the backup cameras. This is a little bit different here because the tailgate is actually down on this one. Special features for trailering specifically so that when you put the vehicle in reverse and you start backing up. I don't want to take too much of your time. We're going to jump into the cab of the 2500, show you around the bed a little bit, show you around those specialty tailgates that the GMC has coined here, and it's been a super popular add-on for us, and we'll get you back to your evening. So thank you so much for spending your time with us. All right, guys and girls, here we are in the 2500 interior SLT. This one also features a Premium Plus package, so all I'm going to say is there's a lot more similarities in here than there are when you compare it to the outside. If you were inside of these vehicles and you were driving, you would find that they're not very similar. One thing I'll tell you is not similar is getting in and out of these vehicles. A Sierra 1500, pleasure to get in and out of. It's at a great height, ergonomically, it's very easy to get in and out of. I don't care if you're short or you're tall. It doesn't, you know, that doesn't make much of a difference. You know, this one has step rails on it, and while you could use them, you might not have to, depending on, you know, where you fall in the tall short spectrum. This thing is got step rails on it, and you need it. It's like getting into a lifted pickup truck. It's way up there in the air. And again, that just gets back to how heavy everything is built. 2500s, they just, you know, inherently are larger. This truck has over 400 horsepower. It's got 464 pound-feet of torque. You know, if you go to something with the Duramax in it, it's got 445 horsepower and over 900 pound-feet of torque, and it's absolutely incredible, especially with that 10-speed Allison transmission. I don't think there's anything that can keep up with it on the road, but this truck rides much heavier. The braking, you feel it. It's a lot heavier. Even when you're just engaging the transmission, you feel how hard that column goes in. This transmission's heavy duty, just like everything in this truck, because you get 15,000 pounds behind you. You need to be able to handle that kind of weight. It's, you know, these trucks don't weigh anywhere near that much. All right, guys and girls, we're out here, I'm going to call it at the business ends of these trucks, because this is, you know, what a truck is made for. Throwing things in the bed, hooking up to trailers, you know, doing the things that could make you money, or if it's just what you do for fun. I mean, I'm not anybody who, you know, is going to do any kind of contracting on the side, but I got to tell you, I don't mind hooking up a trailer and going to get lumber for the deck or whatever I got to do. To me, I kind of fun, and so do a lot of other guys. I know I'm not the only one out there. So tell us about what your weekend projects are like in the comments below. You know, what are you going to be using a truck for? You know, as I told you before earlier, you know, these are the shortest respective beds in these trucks, okay? but they're not the same length, not by any stretch of the imagination. So with the new tailgate that GMC came out with, it really makes this a lot more versatile than what you had seen in the past, okay? And I just kind of want to show you here with a tape measure, you know, where this bed falls, all right? So you'll see right here, you know, that the edge of this bed, this is the inside length of the bed, is about 70 inches. And then with the tailgate open, you know, see right here, it's a full 8 feet. You lift it up, but it's got 2 different stages to it, all right? So if you need to haul something that's a little longer, you can do this. You can drop down this bed length, and then rather than have a piece of lumber hang out over the top, you have this nifty pass-through. You could put the lumber in and you can secure it. It's perfectly fine, all right? But what's also nice is that it doubles as like a workbench, like a small work area. And this one's all spray and bed liner, so is that one. All spray and bed liner. It's very tough, it's very durable, so pretty neat the way they do this here. But then you fold that up, and then if you need that, folds right down. Nice and easy, okay? And there's another feature here they don't always talk to you about. Okay, so that drops down, and then that creates a beautiful stair to use, okay? And you have a nice handle up here as well, and that's nice and sturdy. Quick release on it, so that if you need to fold it down, you can easily do that. All right, very easy to use. But you can see, you get up on the bed of this truck, and the suspension does squat down. And again, that's what I was talking to you guys about, you know, not only towing's a big part of it, why you might consider a 1500 to a 2500, but payload is where a 2500 compared to a 1500 is going to shine. The payload on this specific truck is 1,634 pounds. So you figure its occupants, maybe you've got, even if you had 4 200-pound people in there, that means legally you could operate this truck with about 800 pounds in the bed, which would still be a pretty hefty amount of weight. But let's go on over the 2500 here real quick. This truck has 3,375 pounds of payload capacity. So do the exact same scenario. You got 4 adults in there. You know, even if they were all 200 pounds, 800 pounds, take that away. You got 2,500 more pounds you could basically put in the bed. Now you do have to take away, you know, some for gasoline and stuff like that. But again, the ability to put over 2,000 pounds in the bed of this truck compared to being able to put under 1,000. I mean, think about what you'd be putting in there. I mean, if it's a 4-wheeler, if it's a load of lumber or something, you know, that you're going to pick up, if it's tile, whatever it's going to be, you have thousands of pounds more capacity over what a 1500 is going to operate for you. I don't know if you guys have noticed something, but look how much higher this truck is next to me. You know, showing you, you know, the 1500, it's barely up to my thigh with the tailgate down. You know, maybe the top end of my thigh. This step, it's a game changer. It's no more, I mean, they still have the cubbies and the cutouts and the bumpers, and those are great and everything, but you can't compare to being able to step onto a full-blown stair, especially when you're getting into a truck that's as high as this one. And I know this is not exactly a scientific test, but, you know, look how much different the 2500 is. I mean, I'm only, you know, 210 pounds, 215 pounds, something like that, but you can definitely tell that this truck has so much more suspension under it than something like a 1500. So you really need to take those things into consideration, especially if you were doing an exact comparison like I'm doing on these two trucks. Price would come in at almost the bottom end of the spectrum. The 1500 would come in less. This being the more marketed truck, it's going to have more rebates and incentives on it. But if you need the capacity of what a 2500 is truly offering, and again, I don't know what you're doing. If you're doing deck building, or if you're a contractor, or you're doing something like that, or you're towing a piece of machinery, or if you've got a real big boat, it's not going to be about price at that point. It's going to be, hey, this is the truck I need to do the job I need, or the move the equipment I need to move. But I just really appreciate you guys spending some time with us. I hope this information and this video has been helpful for you. If there's anything else you need to see, leave that in the comments below. But make sure you hit the subscribe button and that you hit that like button so you get access to all of our great videos. But thank you so much and have a great night.